Hey guys, welcome back to Word Wednesday. Last week we defined the word character and done some shout outs. This week we're going to define the word faith and pull another word from the word box. So,
Yes.
y'all stay tuned. Okay, so if you're new here, every Wednesday we pull a new word from the box, and then we ask you all to comment below what your definition of the word is. Throughout the week, we read the comments and discuss our own definition and our own backstory as to how we reach it. Then we do a few shout outs depending on what comments we've gotten that week on the word. So we're going to go ahead first, I guess, and let you all know what next week's word is so you can start thinking and give us a comment as to your definition of the word.
Yes.
This week we have unity.
Unity. Okay.
Unity.
So be thinking while you're watching this video, thinking about what your definition of unity is. And if you have a story that goes along with it, we'd love to hear it.
We did get some really good backstories
Yeah.
with people's definitions this week. Okay, so this week's word was faith. Our definition of faith is a belief so strongly it determines how you experience life's challenges.
Okay. And we always do a backstory with our definitions. Our backstory is a backstory.
Ah, you're funny.
When I was 11, I had the surgery when I was 12. When I was 11, I had a lump come up on my back. And I was always a really healthy kid, so whatever, it is what it is. Until finally it was hurting really, really bad, and I had Mom look at it, and it was just this knot that was on my shoulder. And so she takes me to the doctor, I get checked out.
I take her to the emergency room, and there's what they call a mass on her shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
And this is on a Friday, so I cannot see her GP or her pediatrician until Monday. Further back, her maternal grandmother passed away of malignant melanoma, or paternal grandmother passed away of malignant melanoma that began on the shoulder. That was the longest weekend of my life. Absolutely, hands down. I researched everything I could research at the time. Come Monday morning, the pediatrician looks at the reports and says it's scoliosis. But she feels that it should correct itself.
Because it was fairly minor. It's just the position of it. It was just pushing the muscles into a knot. But still had quite a bit of growing to do, so she thought it would just fix itself. So they said we would wait a year and see.
I trusted my maternal instincts here.
My mother is not a wait a year and see kind of person.
No.
So we went to
An orthodontist.
Dr. Trent in Johnson City,
Tennessee. Yes.
Tennessee. And this man was incredible.
Yeah, Dr. Trent was probably late 60s at the time.
Yeah, just a little old man. He was awesome.
Super nice. Now, by the time, and granted, it was only 2 weeks from the time that we saw the pediatrician until the time we saw Dr. Trent. By this point, she had a 55, 65 backwards S when we got there, which meant that her spine went like this. And the one side, and it was rotated to where one side's pushing out on the muscle and the other side is pushing in on organs. Mm-hmm. If we'd have waited a year, she would have been paralyzed. There was no doubt whatsoever. Of course, we speak to the doctor, and then we speak to the family. And my father, love him, he wanted me to check for other specialists. This was a major surgery. He didn't think that we should go with the first doctor we met.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have it.
No, this man, when he first figured out what it was, and they were talking about surgical options after the first few times that we had seen him, and we knew it was getting worse, he decided he was going to talk to Mom about surgery. And I'm just a kid, I'm 11 years old, and he's like, honey, why don't you go out and sit with your family for a little bit so I can talk to your mom? And I said, sir, the first doctor made me think I had cancer. You're not going to scare me with a wheelchair. From that moment on,
he spoke to her directly.
He spoke to me. When he was talking about surgeries and possible outcomes and this and that and the third and back braces, he spoke to me. And that just, it made me feel super comfortable. I mean, they were talking rods and screws all down my spine. This very well could have been a life or death situation, and he made sure I felt comfortable with it. And so I wasn't switching doctors.
So the faith that she had in Dr. Trent,
yeah, so
helped her to face this experience. Anything could have went wrong at this point.
By the time I had the surgery, it was a 65, 75 degree.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't 3 months after.
No. They had to, insurance purposes, try the brace.
Yeah.
But they were hoping that her growing would finish before they had to do surgery. Even though there was so much faith that the doctors would be able to complete the surgery and that she would be fine. Your faith is really tested the moment when you go in and they're putting the needles in her head. And then, which I think you've got the picture for that. And then when she came out, she was completely still, obviously. But there wasn't a sound. And it was the worst image I'd ever seen. And then she grunted. When she grunted, they had to catch me. Then it was over. It was fine. She was okay. Everything was good. She grew during this one surgery.
5.5 inches taller. That's how scrunched my spine was. That from my shoulders to my hips, I grew 5.5 inches. I was like a little Oompa Loompa before this surgery.
But there was no time during this. Oh, of course, you looked pretty funny after the surgery.
Yeah, we'll show that here.
But there was no time through the process. From the moment they told me it was cancer, it's okay, we got to figure out how to fix this. We're going to beat it. We're going to figure out an answer. When they told us that might need surgery, okay, we're going to figure it out. We're going to do it. This is how it's going to happen. You cannot lose faith. Could it have went differently? Certainly. Faith doesn't mean that the outcome you want is the outcome you're going to get. Faith helps you experience those challenges in a more positive manner.
Yeah.
And to us, that was what we needed. Which brings us to this week's shout out, who, by the way, mentioned in their comment that they don't think they did a good job defining. As a matter of fact, quote, they said, I don't know, I suck at this, haha. So here's to you, John John. Your comment wins this week.
Yes.
So here's to you, John John. We picked your comment this week. The comment says, faith is looking at a certain situation and seeing a likely positive outcome or experience.
Yeah.
How well does that fit with the Hatterhead definition?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just really, and make sure and go check out John John's channel. We'll link it up here. Absolutely, there's some makeup tutorials. There's some, a lot of real life story times. A lot of passion in these videos. So it talks about mental health, and definitely go check it out. As far as the stories, I want to mention that, as we called her out last time, Faith Matini did jump in with her comment this week.
Yes.
And talked about it being a strong, unwavering belief in something. Our 5 adventurers gave us a big, long story about how rough their week had been, but how her faith in humanity had came back around because people had helped.
Yeah.
And so, and I think the last one that gave us a really good story was Molly and me. Talked about having a lot of difficulties growing up with forming relationships, and how she has to have faith now that she's going to form that bond, those relationships with her children. So it was nice to have all of these backstories. that this what makes this fun. This is what we want this to do, and everyone to feel comfortable telling your stories. And if ever you put a comment and later you think, oh, I really don't want them to read that, let us know.
Let us know if you, definitely just let us know.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that before.
Yeah, and even more, if you have a word that you feel defining it online or defining it in a comment would help you in some way, or you just want to hear what we have to say about it, put it in your comment and we'll add it to our box. Because sometimes you don't have an outlet for what it is you want to say or need to say. So if a word will help you out, we'll throw it in there and we'll come up with something to talk about.
We always do.
Alright.
So with that, guys, thank you for tuning in to another Word Wednesday. And
happy Halloween tomorrow.
Oh yes, happy Halloween. I'm sure we'll post something tomorrow. The kids are going to look super cute. So check out for that. But aside from that, we will see you guys on Sunday. Come see our live. Eat dinner with us.
Yes.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to check out any of the other videos posted right here. Also, be sure to like and subscribe.